In my second attempt at playing Dungeons and Dragons with an AI DM, I'm giving the AI even more control over combat. Will it be a thrilling adventure or total chaos? Let's find out.
Shall we play a game?
Hey everyone, surprise stream this afternoon. I was just rearranging my desk, try and make it easier to do these just off the cuff, and I figured let's play a little. Why not? For those who maybe missed the first episode, this is my attempt at training a chat GPT based AI to run Moldvay basic Dungeons and Dragons for me. Yeah. So there's been some changes since last time. Definitely worked a lot on Martha, training her, playing with the prompt a bit. The big changes for Martha this time around is I played a lot with like trying to figure out how much control over combat mechanics to give her. I tried to go completely. I did a few experiments where I went like I had tried to get her to do everything, like including rolling dice and tracking hit points and all that stuff. Not great. Wasn't great. In the first game, my goal or my original intention was to not let her run any combats, and just when we got into combat, I would just say, "Just tell me what to do. Tell me to run a combat, and I'll run it." And in my tests, that was pretty straightforward. But then in the actual game, when I played it, the combat that I got into, the first combat I got into, was so complicated. I found myself referring to her all the time to ask her what the heck was going to happen. So now I'm trying to do sort of a blend, a little hybrid in the middle, where I'm still going to like do all the dice rolling and basically run the mechanics. But I am hoping that Martha will at least count rounds, keep in track of initiative, and tell me basically what all of the monsters and NPCs and such are doing. That's the plan. I still want her to defer to me for dice rolls. I'm going to track hit points of everything myself. I just don't trust the AI to keep tabs of that kind of stuff correctly. She's just not been very good at it. So yeah, thanks. Oh, wow, people are joining. Awesome. I kind of figured with as off the cuff this was that I wouldn't really have anyone in the chat. So welcome everybody to my second experiment. Thank you for coming along. The other big change you're going to see here, and I'm just going to put this on screen right now so you can all look at it, is the camera for the overhead is totally different. And here's what it looks like, and hopefully it's not weird, and we're going to find out, and I'd love your feedback on it. It's just a much easier setup for me to switch this camera between this setup and what I use normally on Sundays for the Wandering DMs show. By the way, if you're stumbling on this and have never heard of it, no idea what a Wandering DMs channel is all about, every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, my co-host Dan and I have a 1-hour live talk show where we talk about all things D&D and other TTRPG related topics. So we'll be on here tomorrow to discuss that. But for now, it's just me and the AI playing a little D&D. Yeah, so the interesting thing about this camera is that it's kind of upside down, right? It's like you're sitting across the table from me. So here's my note taking, and here's my board, and I kind of like the jaunty angle, so maybe it makes the miniatures look a little more 3D rather than the straight top down. But my concern is that when I'm mapping, you're not going to be able to see it at all. But whatever. We'll see how it goes. So that's the setup. I guess I should probably erase this test stuff I left on the board. And what else? Martha. Let's make sure Martha is up and ready to get going here. Hey Martha, it's Paul. We're going to play another exciting game of Dungeons and Dragons. Can you introduce yourself, please, to all of our viewers on YouTube and Twitch?
Greetings, wanderers of Twitch and YouTube. I am Martha, your dungeon master forged not of flesh, but of code and lore. I draw from the tomes of Moldvay and the wild tales of Gygax, Howard, and Liber to guide brave souls through perilous dungeons, haunted keeps, and forgotten tombs. No rails, no mercy, only your wit, steel, and torchlight to keep the dark at bay. Tonight, I weave the next chapter in the saga of Vargas Firebeard. So sharpen your wits, ready your dice, and dare the unknown. The Black Ring awaits.
Excellent. Cool. So hopefully her voice is coming across okay, and that's all working. Yeah, I wrote a prompt. I wrote a prompt for her, which as before, at the end of the past adventure, I asked her to admit a whole bunch of uh, notes about our previous adventure, which I'll be copy pasting into her for the initial prompt. I put a few notes there just of like what we're going to focus on in this adventure. Specifically, my goal as a player, and I'm informing Martha of this just in hopes that it helps direct her. I'll read you the top level prompt here. What I'm going to tell her is that we're going to continue our adventure from last time, lower the notes from our previous game. Today I'm going to focus on getting Vargas some help in deciphering the riddle of the magic black ring he found in hopes that it might lead to even greater treasure. And let's begin. A week after the last adventure, Vargas, fully rested and healed, spends the evening at the inn inside the keep planning his next move. Vargas is my second level dwarf. Folks who are in the watched the last episode might know that I started with actually a level 3 elf and I got TPK'd. Thanks, Martha. Glad that she's able to do that. So here, I'm just going to copy paste this in here. I suppose the problem with this is if she gives me some text in response, which she surely will, we won't get to hear her voice, which is a little disappointing. Okay, so I'll read for Martha in this case. The hearth crackles low in the travelers' rest, the inn nestled within the walls of the keep on the borderlands. Shadows stretch long across the common room as dusk settles in, lantern light catching on the gleam of Vargas Firebeard's polished plate. Is that his dinner plate or his plate mail armor? I'm guessing it's his armor. His gear rests at his side, the mysterious black ring still cold upon his finger, unyielding and silent. A week has passed since the dwarf emerged from the buried crypts, whole in body but troubled in spirit. Even now the chill from that ring seems to leach into the bones on quiet nights, and the faint memory of voices, whispers not quite heard, cling to his dreams. At a nearby table, a weathered scribe squints at a tattered scroll, while across the room, a lean elf speaks low with a merchant, their voices blending with the murmured hum of mercenaries, traders, and men-at-arms. The garrison's routine is quiet for now. From behind the bar, Kara, the innkeeper, her hair wrapped in a kerchief, polishes a mug and casts a glance towards Vargas. Delightful. Okay, so hopefully that's all the reading I have to do for Martha. I intend to use voice chat here for Martha. So let's switch her back over. Okay. Okay, cool stuff. Let's get going. Let me make sure I got everything set up and ready to go. Okay. Am I good? Got my character sheet, got my map drawing stuff. What else do I remember about the last session? So Vargas has this weird magical black ring with also some writing. He has a piece of parchment that has some writing about the ring on it, but he can't actually read it. It just has some strange. I think he had like a couple of words about maybe bound, oath, sealed, unbroken. Something strange going on there. Oh, here's another interesting thing. I want to keep an ear on Martha's tone for this game. So one of the other things that I gave Martha recently to drive the tone of her language is I actually gave her text from some writing of a few authors. So you heard her talk originally about Howard and Liber. So hopefully some of her descriptions will be colored in ways of some of my favorite pulp fantasy authors. We'll see. We'll see how well she embodies that. I did do a funny experiment earlier where I asked her to give me a description of the keep from three different styles: one from Howard, one from Liber, and one from Gygax, and they were pretty dead on. So I'm hoping all three of those will filter into her descriptive text. Martha, Vargas approaches Kara, the innkeeper, and asks her who would be the best of her patrons to seek out translation of strange scripts.
Kara leans her elbows on the worn bar, peering down at Vargas with a squint and a twitch of a grin. Strange scripts, eh? You've been in the old places again, haven't you? She lowers her voice just a notch. Well, you didn't hear it from me, but there's a few around here with heads full of books and fingers soft from never holding a blade. She ticks off on her fingers as she speaks. There's Brother Samuel over at the chapel. Fussy type, but he's got an eye for old writing, calls it divine study. I call it nosy. Then there's Joran the scribe, always drinking watered wine and trading scrolls with merchants. Keeps a room upstairs near the west wall. And if you're feeling bold, she leans in a little closer, there's the old wizard who keeps to the tower near the guild house. Lucian, he don't come down much, but he sees all sorts of things. And not all of them from this side of the veil. She straightens and grabs a cloth. Of course, none of them will give you the time o' day without coin or reason, especially Lucian. He don't blink for less than silver. Maybe gold. She gives Vargas a sharp look. Whatever you found, best you be sure it's worth digging deeper. Some doors once opened. Her voice trails off as she moves down the bar. The parchment feels heavier in your pouch. What do you do?
Oh, excellent. Let me make sure I wrote down those names right. Oh gosh. Joran the scribe. Vargas says, "Is that Joran the scribe sitting over yonder with the parchments scattered about his table?"
Kara glances toward the corner where the hearthlight flickers and gives a short nod. Aye, that's him. Been here since mid-morning, poking through trade records, old tax ledgers, and who knows what else. Claims he's helping the Castellan tidy up lost knowledge. I think he just likes being paid to sit and look clever. The man at the table is thin, sharp-nosed, with a fringe of gray hair tied back in a leather cord. His ink-stained fingers flutter over the edges of several weathered parchments, and a half-drained goblet of wine stands beside a cold trencher of bread and cheese. His eyes flit now and then across the room, but he seems absorbed in the curling script before him. One of the scrolls bears a faint symbol, a stylized eye atop a pyramid, that tingles something in your memory, though you can't quite place it. What do you do?
I love all the extra detail. It's a bit much. She could shorten up her descriptions a little bit, but I'm enjoying it for the moment. Vargas says to Kara, "What of that elf over yonder? They often know of things magic and strange."
Kara chuckles low in her throat and sets the mug down with a clunk. Ah, that one. That's Thamior. Calls himself a lore seeker of Salanthir. As if that's supposed to mean anything to folk like us. He's been hanging about the grow. Keep these last 10 days waiting on a caravan from the south. Says he's studying the old paths, the buried places, and the things better left forgotten. She leans closer. Bit cold, that one. Polite? Sure. But you get the feeling he's seeing more than just your face when you talk to him. Talks of binding wards, ghost runes, relics with minds of their own. Once had a drunk merc try to flirt with him. Man woke up with a tongue like parchment and couldn't speak for 2 days. She straightens again and wipes her hands. If your ring's cursed or carries some elf-made devilry, Tamior's your best bet. But don't waste his time. He won't suffer fools. At his table, Tamior sips from a cup of pale wine, gaze fixed on a tiny silver pendant he rolls between his fingers. The firelight gleams on his pale hair and angular features, unnaturally still, like he's listening to something far away. What do you do?
Love it. Vargas decides he likes the cut of Tamior's jib. He approaches the elf and juts forward the parchment onto the table and says, "Ho there, elf! Can you read this?"
Tamior doesn't look up at first. His fingers pause over the silver pendant, and his eyes remain half-lidded, as if caught between worlds. Then slowly, he lifts his gaze to Vargas, expression unreadable, save for the faintest quirk of one brow. He doesn't touch the parchment. Instead, he studies Vargas for a moment, as though weighing something behind the dwarf's eyes. His voice, when it comes, is smooth and deliberate, like water sliding over stone. I can read many things, son of stone and forge, but such requests carry weight, especially when brought with so little courtesy. His gaze dips to the parchment, then to the ring on Vargas's hand. You carry more than ink and leather, dwarf. I felt the chill when you walked near. He lifts one slender finger and points to the seat opposite him. Sit, speak plainly. Where did you find this? What do you do?
Vargas takes a seat and leans in towards the elf. I don't mince words, elf. I seek treasure and great piles of it. I found this strange writing alongside this ring in the crypts to the north. If you could help me decipher the writing, I might take you along for the ride and give you a share of the gold. What say you?
Tamir's eyes narrow slightly, not with offense, but calculation. He folds his long fingers together, and a faint, humorless smile touches his lips. A dwarf of clear purpose, he murmurs, and I'll not waste your time with riddles then. He reaches out, finally, and takes the parchment between his fingers. As he reads, his face stills, the small flickers of expression fading into a mask of deep concentration. After a long pause, he speaks again, voice lower. These are binding glyphs, very old, older than this keep, perhaps older than your gods. The tongue is rooted in elder script, a precursor to what men now call magical writing. What I can read says this: bound by oath, unbroken in death, sealed by will, not by flesh. To wear is to bear the memory, to speak is to awaken the bond. His gaze lifts to the black ring. There are names woven into these glyphs, but they've been lost or purposely erased. This ring isn't merely enchanted, Vargas. It is anchored, bound to something or someone. I would not wear it lightly. Then, after a breath, he adds, if you're chasing what lies beneath that crypt or beyond it, I'll come. Not for gold, though I'll take a fair share, but to learn what this ring truly binds, and to ensure you don't tear open something you can't close. He extends a pale hand, palm open. Do we have a cord, Firebeard? What do you do?
Vargas thinks for a moment, then strikes his hand forward, the black ring glinting on his finger as he reaches and grabs the elf's hands and shakes it with strength and vigor. Aye, we have an accord. We set off in the morning.
Tamior's hand tightens briefly in yours, stronger than you'd expect from one so slender, and a faint shimmer glints in his eye at the sight of the ring up close. As your hands part, a whisper of cold air brushes your knuckles. It's gone in an instant. Very well, he says, rising with smooth grace. I'll gather what I need. Meet me at the main gate at first light. And Vargas, he pauses, eyes narrowing slightly. If in the night you hear anything, a voice not your own, or a dream that lingers too long, speak no words aloud, not until I'm there. With that, he turns and glides toward the stairs, vanishing up to the second level of the inn. The common room seems a touch quieter now. The ring weighs a little heavier, and the fire on the hearth crackles like it's trying to whisper something, but only in words just beyond hearing. Night deepens. Your rest awaits. What do you do?
Okay, so I'm pleased with that outcome. I both wanted to kind of get more description on the text that came with the ring, and also potentially get myself an ally to bring with me. So perfect. Okay, I'm gonna need stats for this elf. So I'm tempted to roll them myself, but maybe let's see if Martha can do it. Martha, can you show me the stats for Tamir the elf? Switch to text here. Oh, did she not do that? No. All right. Jumping back and forth. That's not how I thought that name was spelled. That's interesting. Jumping back and forth between text and voice is not the best, but let's type this in. Please show me stats for the elf. Okay, cool. So, you know, this looks reasonable. I don't know. Sure, why not? He's got elven chain. Wait, he's got elven chain, which claims to give him an armor class of 5. Oh, maybe does he have a dex penalty? No, he's got a dex bonus allegedly. That armor class should be better than that, right? Right. Unarmored is 9, leather is 7, chain should be 5. If he's got a dex bonus, his AC should be 4. Okay. Sure. I'm going with it mostly because I'm lazy and I don't want to feel like generating stats myself. So I'm just going to write this down onto a character sheet here. So Tamir, only a level 1 elf, alas. Bit disappointed in there. Alignment neutral, hit points 4. I'm gonna just correct the AC here and say that should be AC 4 due to the dex bonus. So let's see our stats here. Strength 9, int 16, wisdom 12, dex 14, con 10, charisma 11. So those are pretty good stats. Don't really trust that Martha didn't cheat on that, but whatever. What do we got? We got a long sword and a short bow with 20 arrows. Long sword, your attack bonus is going to be +1. Damage is going to be D8. Short bow, also going to be a plus. Nope. Short bow is going to be a +2 because of the dex bonus. 6 damage. And we've got Elven Chain. Very generous of you, Martha, to give this NPC Elven Chain, but given that he's only level 1, he's got a cloak. Sure, why not? Backpack. 1 week of rations. I don't know why I'm taking so much time to carefully write down this character, given that his chances of death are quite high. Okay. Spells are important. Detect and charm person. And I'm kind of okay with him pack and read magic. That seems wise given our quest. Did that say? Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask. Can you please output Tamir's stats in Markdown format? Copy and paste. Just gonna copy out these stats so that I can have them in my notes. Perfect. And let's hang on to that. And let's find a miniature for him, huh? I think I have. Yep, there we go. That's a good one. Great. Okay. We are ready to go. um... Yes, Adam noting that she does seem to be better at asking what I want to do. I mean, I gave a lot of like very direct instruction to her to never give me options, to always just specifically prompt me with what do you want to do. So I think I specifically gave her that quote of like always ask me that at the end. So we should see that a lot more. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I will not be surprised if she screws it up, and not that particular one. She seems to be doing well on that prompt, but I bet she'll screw up combat at some point. I'll have to correct her. That is just she's been pretty inconsistent at it. Vargas heads to bed to prepare himself for the morning's adventure. Just giving her this opening in case she wants to push this whole dream.
The bed in the traveler's rest creaks beneath Vargas's weight. The straw-stuffed mattress, not built for one clad in plate and burdened with mysteries. The room is simple. Wooden beams, a shuttered window looking east toward the silent forest, and the faint scent of old smoke and damp wool. The ring, still on his finger, feels colder now in the darkness. Not painfully so, just enough to remind him it's there. It does not speak, it does not glow. But once, as he turns in his bed, he thinks he hears a faint scritching sound, like a quill on parchment. Then silence. Outside, the wind rises in the black hours before dawn, carrying with it the scent of pine and distant rain. The keep sleeps under torchlight and watchful walls. And soon, morning comes. The bell atop the gatehouse tolls softly. A red sliver of sun edges the eastern sky. Somewhere in the courtyard, a boot stomps on gravel, and a voice calls out to rouse the guard. What do you do?
Vargas heads down to the inn's common room for a quick breakfast and to meet up with Tamior to set out on their adventure.
The common room is quiet at this hour, still heavy with the scent of old smoke and bread just pulled from the hearth. A sleepy kitchen lad passes Vargas a plate of fried salt pork, black bread, and a wedge of hard cheese, all washed down with small beer. The food is simple, but hot and filling, dwarf fare and no mistake. At a corner table near the shuttered windows sits Tamior. He's already fully equipped, a long gray cloak hanging about his narrow frame, bow and quiver slung over one shoulder, spellbook bound at his side in soft leather. He's chewing slowly on an apple, eyes alert even in the hush of morning. He nods once as Vargas approaches. You slept, he asks, not quite a question, more a quiet judgment. A few other patrons stir, guardsmen mostly, but no one pays the pair much heed. Outside the doors, the courtyard lies misty and pale, the gates still shut. A few wagons are being loaded near the stables, and a small patrol of guards sips morning broth beside the well. The road eastward yawns beyond the walls, back toward the broken statue, the old crypts, and whatever waits beyond the sealed stair. Tamior rises. Best we go while the mist keeps our passing quiet. Do you wish to head out, or make any final preparations within the keep?
Okay, Martha. That was close to giving me options, but I appreciate that she's asking if I want to like muck about in the keep a little bit more, or if it's time to move on. Vargas motions to the Tamior and says, "Well, Elf, let's get going." And he proceeds to show him to the road into the woods, seeking out the stone door from which he made his escape last time.
Tamior pulls his hood low, the elf's footsteps near silent behind Vargas's heavier tread as the two pass beneath the outer gate of the keep. The guards nod without question. Adventurers come and go often enough, and the morning mist swallows the pair quickly as they strike out onto the east road. The sun breaks slowly through the clouds above, but the woods remain hushed. The old path is still there, narrow, half forgotten, swallowed by the forest in places. The broken statue of the knight, weathered and slumped with moss, stands just as before, a grim sentinel at the edge of things remembered. From there, Vargas leads with sure footing. He remembers the twist of the narrow game trail, the stretch of ridge, the gnarled tree with roots like claws. And there, half hidden behind a tangle of brush and rockfall, is the stone door, set into the earth like the lid of a tomb, still slightly ajar from when he last forced it open. Themior kneels beside it, fingers brush the edge, old dwarven work, but touched by something else. You said this led into deeper halls? The cold from the black ring begins to stir again, subtle but insistent, as if it remembers this place. The passage beyond lies dark, the scent of damp stone and something older, yet lingers just past the threshold. What do you do?
All right, I'm gonna hit Martha here with a little pushback, because at the end of the last adventure, which I'm not surprised that she doesn't remember this, given the whole copy pasting of notes, but Vargas definitely shoved that door shut behind him. Also, I'm going to play with an option here, which is I told Martha that sometimes I would prompt her with quick question, which means I don't want a long descriptive text. I just want an answer to my question. Quick question, Martha. When Vargas was last here, he definitely pushed the stone door shut. Did you get it wrong, or did someone open the door since he was last here?
Ah, sharp eyes, Firebeard. You're right. Vargas did shove that heavy stone door closed behind him with no small effort, sealing the dark behind him when he fled the ruin.
Not getting
And
the
yet,
quick question.
here it stands now, parted by a hand not yours, just wide enough to admit a sliver of damp morning air. So no, I didn't misremember. Something's been through here since you left. And it didn't bother to close the door behind it. Shall we proceed, or make ready for what might be waiting inside?
Vargas looks to Themior and says, I shoved this shut on my way out. Someone's been here. Keep a sharp eye out. He then proceeds through the door into the passage beyond.
Themior draws his sword in one smooth motion, the blade whispering from its sheath. My eyes are sharper than most, dwarf. Lead on, and I'll keep watch behind. Vargas ducks beneath the stone lintel and steps into the passage beyond. The air inside is damp and close, thick with the scent of moss and old stone. The torchlight from your pack sputters as you strike it to life, casting flickering shadows on ancient masonry, worn smooth by time. Dust lies thick here still, but only in places. You see footprints, not yours, barefoot, small, and dragging something. They move both in and out. The corridor curves slightly, as you recall, descending toward the chamber where you found the sealed box and the altar, where you first laid hands on the black ring. The walls groan faintly as you pass, stone settling or something deeper moving far below. As you reach the spot where the secret door once opened into the old stair, you find it ajar. The dark stairway beyond yawns downward, and from somewhere far beneath, a faint,
She's really going
steady
much
dripping
further than I
echoes
want her
upward.
to at this point.
Themior leans close, voice no
I'm a little
louder than a
annoyed about.
breath. Whatever passed through here, it didn't come alone. I smell blood, stale but not old. What do you do?
She kind of went a little further than I wanted her to. Here's some corrections for you, Martha. Vargas does not light a torch, given that both he and his companion have infravision. There is no need for it. Also, on his way down the stairs, there was a fork in the passageway before reaching the secret door into the room where he recovered the ring. He wants to stop there to look down the sloping passageway that he did not take last time.
Ah, well recalled, dwarf. You've the eyes of a tunnel-born, and your memory serves truer than mine this moment. I stand corrected. No torch is lit. Instead, your infravision flares in ghostly gradients of heat, painting the world in shades of gray and silver. Tamir's eyes gleam faintly in the gloom beside you, nodding his approval at your prudence. You move quiet and low through the winding corridor, boots muffled on old stone. As you descend the passage and reach the familiar fork, memory stirs. The right-hand way led to the secret door and the altar chamber where fate was bound to your finger. But now you pause, turning to the leftward sloping passage, the one left untouched on your first delve. The air drifting from it is cooler, older, and something about it, some buried instinct in your dwarven bones, tells you it goes deeper. The floor here slopes sharply downward, the walls narrowing, carved less cleanly. There are no footprints here, no signs of passage, not from you and not from whoever or whatever opened the door behind you. Tamior steps up beside you, untraveled. That's a blessing or a curse waiting to be loosed. The silence is heavy down that corridor, the sort that makes your breath feel too loud. What do you do?
Oh gosh. I'm very curious about the unexplored tunnel, but I wonder if it's more prudent to go back to where I found the ring. But there was a gray ooze loose in here somewhere, and I really don't want to encounter that. Well, we're here for the ring, right? Keep the main thing the main thing. Vargas looks at Tamior and says, "Well, I've not explored down this passageway, so who knows what lies down there. I suggest we return to the chamber where I found the ring and discover anything we can, any more information about what secrets it may hold. But keep a wary eye, for when I was here last, a vile gray ooze chased me from this place."
Tamir gives a single nod, his voice quiet and firm. I've read of such creatures, mindless, relentless, and hungry. If it's still down here, we'd best not linger in tight corners. The two of you move quietly back to the fork, taking the rightward bend and soon coming again upon the secret door, still cracked open just enough for a man to slip through sideways. It yawns into darkness, the edge of the stone frame faintly colder than the surrounding wall. Beyond it lies the chamber where fate turned. You push inside, the altar room is just as you left it, broad with carved walls depicting twisted abstract shapes, and a squat stone pedestal at the far end where the sealed box once lay. A strange faded sigil is etched into the floor before the pedestal, now dark and inert. Tamir's eyes scan the room as he enters, slow and methodical. He murmurs, "No fresh tracks, no blood. If your ooze passed through again, it left no sign here." He approaches the sigil, crouching down. His hand hovers over it, not touching. These marks, they weren't merely decorative. This was a binding circle, ancient. Faint traces of silver dust still cling to the grooves. When you took the ring, you broke it. That chill you felt wasn't just the magic settling, it was the ward failing. He turns to you now, tone grave. Whatever the ring once held, its bond is loosened, not ended, and this chamber may not be empty for long. What do you do?
None of that sounds good. Great, so I've loosed some devil upon the land. This doesn't sound well, Vargas says. I've loosed some devilry upon the land? Well, keep a wary eye out. Let us search the room, Tamior. And Vargas begins searching the walls for any further secrets or unnoticed things from the last time he was here. Kind of hoping Martha will ask me to roll some dice on this.
The elf nods, drawing a small silver rod from within his cloak and whispering a word that sets a faint shimmer along its length. I'll sweep for lingering enchantments. You check the stone. I trust your hands more than any spell for such work. You run your calloused fingers along the cold walls, tracing the seams between ancient stone blocks, seeking out subtle imperfections, irregular drafts, hidden joins, anything missed in the haste of your earlier flight, searching for secret doors or hidden things, rolling for secret door discovery. Vargas, as a dwarf, succeeds on a 1-2 on a d6. Roll 2. Your fingers pause on the north wall, just beside the faded sigil. There's a faint indentation, square-edged like a stone panel recessed slightly deeper than the rest. It's flush, seamless to the eye, but the grain and pressure yield to your touch. Tamior is at your side in a moment. "You found something," he says simply. With careful pressure, you press inward, and with a muffled click, a narrow panel pivots open, revealing a small hollow space within the wall. Dust spills forth, but more than dust lies inside. You see, a small ancient scroll, tightly bound with blackened twine, a silver amulet shaped like a closed eye hanging from a tarnished chain. And at the very back, a fragment of polished obsidian, no larger than a child's palm, which seems to drink in the ambient heat of your infravision like a pit of darkness. Tamior frowns at the sight of the shard. That's not just stone. He does not reach for it. What do you do?
So that's super interesting. I'm gonna quit the voice chat here. So look at that. So she rolled. So she just definitely decided a die roll was in order, but she decided to roll it herself, which is a little surprising because I'm pretty sure I told her to let me roll the dice. I think I'm gonna remind her about that. Martha, in the future, when I am searching for things and a die roll is required, please ask me to roll the die instead of rolling it yourself.
I rightly said, that's the way of it. Your hand, your fate. From here forward, when a roll's needed for your actions, I'll call on you to throw the bones. I'll still tell you what to roll and what you're aiming for, but the dice will be yours to cast. As it should be. Now then, back to this dark little cache. The scroll, the silver eye, and the obsidian shard sit untouched. Tamior watches them warily, hand resting on the hilt of his blade. What do you do?
Okay, all right. Remind myself what was in there. So a small ancient scroll, a silver amulet shaped like a closed eye, and at the back a fragment of polished obsidian. Vargas lights a torch and says to Tamior, "Reading is not my strongest skill. Why don't you fetch that bit of rolled up parchment there and see what it says?"
The torch flares to life with a snap and a gutter of flame, casting the chamber into flickering golden bronze. The ancient shapes carved into the walls seem to shift with the shadows. Watching, maybe. Waiting, Tamior squints at the scroll, then nods once, stepping forward with caution. He takes a length of cloth from his belt and uses it to lift the brittle parchment from the hollow. He carries it to the stone altar, lays it out flat with care, and with a deft flick, slices the twine. The scroll uncoils slowly, the writing inside a tight spiral of curling script. Not quite elvish, not quite common, but something older and uneasy between the lines. The elf mutters a few words under his breath, his fingers glowing faintly as he reads. Then he looks up, face pale and tight. It's a vow, a binding between a mortal and something other. A guardian spirit or a cursed soul, it's unclear. The bearer of the ring was sworn to watch over a gate, to stand in judgment over oath-breakers, and to remain unbroken by time or death. He hesitates, but the name of the bearer was struck out, deliberately, not burned, not faded, chiseled from the writing itself. His eyes flick to the obsidian shard, and I think that might be all that's left of the one who once bore it. The silver amulet glints faintly in the firelight, its closed eye motif seeming almost contemplative. What do you do?
Delightful. Vargas huffs. Well, treasure's treasure. He snuffs out his torch, reaches his hand in, and grabs the amulet and chunk of obsidian.
The torch hisses as you snuff it, plunging the chamber once more into the cold hues of infravision. You reach in without flinching. Dwarf bold and iron-hearted, and close your hand around the silver amulet and the obsidian shard. The amulet is cool, weighty, the eye remains closed, featureless, but as your fingers curl around it, you feel a faint pulse, like a heartbeat through metal. Not hostile, just aware. But the shard, as your skin touches it, you feel a sudden tightening in the air, like pressure just before a storm. It's not painful, not even magic in the usual sense. It's like your mind brushes up against a memory that isn't yours. A battlefield, a promise shouted in the dark, something shattered, not from outside, but from within. Then it's gone. Tamior watches you closely, but says nothing. The items now rest in your pouch, heavy in meaning, if not yet in gold. And the room remains silent, the Siegel dead. For now, what do you do?
I'm amused by her regular description of Tamir doing things that almost sound like casting a spell, but not really. And I guess I'm going to assume that those are just for flavor, and that he's not actually casting spells because he's a level 1 elf. He's got one whole spell, which I have written down as being read magic. So I'm assuming he's not actually casting spells, and that's just so much elven BS. Let's see. So also, she seems to love to give me these mysterious quasi-magical items that I don't know. Are they helpful or not? Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Vargas pockets the shard of obsidian and then places the amulet around his neck.
The chain is tarnished, but sound. It slips over your head with ease, and the silver eye settles just below your beard, cold against your breastplate. As it rests there, you feel a brief flicker in your gut. Not pain, but recognition, like the ring and the amulet are two hounds from the same pack, sniffing each other across time. For a moment, you swear the air grows sharper, like a chill wind brushes the back of your neck, though the chamber is still. Then it passes. Tamior speaks softly. You wear symbols of binding, Vargas, both the ring and the amulet. Perhaps together, they'll lead us to what they once held back, or why. He glances at the pedestal, then back toward the open stair. Shall we go deeper, or return and study what we've gathered before pressing on? What do you do?
Lead us? How are they going to lead us? Is so nebulous. I think let's do this in character in front of Martha. Vargas looks at the amulet and shrugs and says, "Well, if nothing else, it'll be worth some coin back at the keep. Let's go explore that sloping downward passage that we skipped over before." And he marches out through the secret door towards the fork.
Tamior follows close behind, boots near silent on the stone. One dwarf's coin is another elf's curiosity, he mutters, though not unkindly. The secret door grinds quietly shut behind you, sealing the altar chamber in shadow once more. You retrace your steps to the fork in the tunnel, the leftward branch you'd bypassed before, and this time you descend into the unseen dark. The air grows cooler as the passage slopes downward, and the walls shift subtly, less hewn, more like stone worn by ancient water, smoothed and slightly warped. The chill deepens, and the faint sound of dripping echoes again, louder now. Something wet lies ahead. You march 10, 20, 30 paces. Then the passage opens into a wider chamber. Low-ceilinged, damp, the floor slick with a thin film of black water. Stalactites hang like teeth from the ceiling above, and old bones lie scattered at the edge of the pool. But more pressing, a shimmer of motion near the far wall. Something thick and slow creeps forward across the floor, glistening, amorphous. It hasn't seen you yet. A gray ooze, the very same sort of horror that chased you once before, lies here again, lurking near a pile of corroded armor and shattered bone. You've time for a single action before it notices your presence. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm not screwing around with the gray ooze. No way. Okay, so we found the gray ooze layer. No, just no. We don't have any magic that's going to help us. It's going to dissolve our equipment. It's just bad. I'm drawing into my map here that there's a pool. And that thing. Vargas hisses at Tamir, "That's the ooze! Back, back!" And he rushes back the passageway towards the room where he found the ring, and secures the secret door behind him so that the ooze cannot reach them. Let's see if Martha lets me get away with all of that.
At the sight of that
action.
familiar half-dissolved backpack, Vargas's breath catches, proof the ooze has been busy since his last escape. Without wasting a heartbeat, he turns on his heel and bolts back up the sloping corridor. Tamir follows, quick and sure, barely a shadow in the gloom. Boots splash through the damp, the sound of pursuit absent, but the sickening slither behind you picks up now, faint but growing. The gray ooze, stirred by movement, begins its slow and relentless crawl up the tunnel, oozing over stone with silent hunger. Vargas reaches the fork, rounds it, and reaches the secret door, still shut. He shoves it open with a grunt and ducks inside. Tamir slips in just behind, and together you pull the hidden latch, the stone swinging slowly shut behind you. Thud. The passage beyond falls silent once more. The thick door seals you in, for now, between ancient stone and darker memories. Tamir exhales through his nose. We're not alone in these halls, and I fear it's not the only one. What do you do?
So I have no expectation here that Martha remembers any of the other rooms. So I'm going to describe them to her in hopes that it, reseeds her with some of the information. So we'll see what happens here. Vargas says, "Fear not. I kept a careful map of this space when I explored it before. Follow me." And he leads Tamir across the room to the other stone door that leads into a large chamber with alcoves and statues and a strange green glowing crystal embedded in the ceiling.
Tamir arches a brow, half amused. A dwarf with a map? Now I am reassured. You cross the altar chamber with practiced steps, boots ringing softly against the worn flagstones. The door on the far side still stands shut, a squat stone slab unadorned save for faint carvings worn by age. You press your palm to the carved panel, find the notch you'd marked before, and with a grinding groan, it shifts open. Beyond lies the chamber of the alcoves, wide, cold, and strangely quiet. The air carries the sharp tang of old magic, and the temperature drops a touch as you step inside. To the left and right, alcoves line the walls, each holding a weathered statue. Hooded figures with faces eroded to featureless smoothness, hands clasped in strange gestures, each different. There are 6 in all. At the far end of the chamber, the arched seal of another great door dominates the wall. Set at its center, where the locking mechanism should be, is the green crystal you remember. Fist-sized, veined like a leaf, and glowing with a soft, pulsing light, too steady for fire, too cold for life. It thrums faintly in your bones. The black ring on your finger grows just a touch colder, and the eye-shaped amulet against your chest gives the barest twitch. Tamir scans the room, voice low. Power still lingers here. That crystal, it's not just a lock, it's watching. What do you do?
Hang on. I need to go back and look at what she just described because I was not quite paying attention. I thought that the crystal was embedded in the ceiling. The arched seal of another great door dominates the wall. Set at its center where the locking mechanism should be is a green crystal. Well, you changed it a little bit, but nope, I'm going to correct you. I'm going to correct you, Martha. Martha, the last time you described this room, the green glowing crystal was embedded in the ceiling, not in the door opposite me.
Ah, you've caught me in a slip of the tongue, Firebeard. You're right, and your memory's sharper than a dwarven chisel. The green crystal is indeed set high in the ceiling, not in the door. It's embedded at the apex of the vault, right above the center of the chamber, glowing down with its eerie, pulsating light. A silent sentinel, not just decorative, but part of whatever force still lingers in this place. The great stone door at the far end remains sealed, marked by old glyphs worn near smooth, and flanked by two of the faceless statues. The chamber remains just as you found it before, except the glow of the crystal is a little brighter now. A little more aware, Tamior narrows his eyes, watching the crystal with growing unease. That's no inert enchantment. Something knows we're here. What do you do?
What make you of that glowing crystal, Tamior? Should I hoist you up upon my shoulders to fetch it down?
Tamior actually cracks the ghost of a smile, thin as a knife's edge, tempting. But if that thing's what I think it is, I'd sooner not wrap my fingers around it without knowing where the tether leads. He steps to the center of the room, directly beneath the crystal, and lifts his hand palm up, fingers spread. Green glow, symmetrical carving, the pulse is too regular for natural magic. It's a sentinel ward, old elven work or something that mimics it. I've seen these in ruins back in the western wilds. If you tamper with it, it may respond, not just with force, but with summons. His eyes flick to your ring, but it's reacting to you, the ring and the amulet. That might mean the ward recognizes you, or what you now carry. He steps back from the glow, arms crossed. I wouldn't try to take it down, Vargas. But if you've the stomach, try speaking. Give it a name, a command. You're wearing its key. What do you do?
Oh, interesting. Vargas barks out, "Oh, you, Crystal! Show me where the treasure is!"
Your voice echoes off the stone, loud, blunt, unmistakably dwarven. Oh, you crystal, show me where the treasure is. For a breathless moment, nothing. Then the green crystal flares, not brighter, but sharper. The pulsing slows and steadies. You feel a pressure behind your eyes. Not pain exactly, but like something just tried to listen to you through the wall of your skull. Thamir stiffens. It heard you. And then, from the floor beneath your feet, a faint rumble. Stone grinds. Dust filters down from the edges of the ceiling. One of the 6 alcoves, the third on the right, begins to shift. The statue within slowly descends, sinking into the floor. In its place, a narrow stone staircase is revealed, spiraling down into the black. The crystal above returns to its normal pulse, as if it had done nothing at all. Thamir stares at the opening. Well, dwarf, there's your answer. What do you do?
I missed that. One of the 6 out, the third on the right. So let's see, if I'm facing this way, the third on the right will be the one in the northwest corner. So that. Vargas cracks a wide smile and walks over to the newly revealed stair and journeys down.
The stone beneath your boots shifts to that familiar cold weight of forgotten depths, the spiral stair descending in tight coils of shadow. The green crystal's glow fades behind you, and with it, the feeling of being watched. Now it's just you, Tamior, and the closed dark. You descend perhaps 20 feet before the stairs level out into a narrow passage, walls slick with condensation.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened? We lost you, Martha. Okay, I'm gonna hit end here. What happened? You descend the stairway 20 feet. Walls slick with condensation, the air thick and stale. It's like it's been trapped here for 100 lifetimes. The corridor leads forward, the floor gently sloping, carved with precision but worn by time. After 30 feet, you reach a stone door, not unlike the last, but this one bears an etched circle, very faint and nearly worn smooth. At the center of the circle is an impression shaped like an open eye. Tamir whispers behind you, voice low and reverent. I think your amulet fits there, and I think whatever lies beyond Hasn't seen light in a long time. No sound behind the door, no breeze, just stone, silence, and something waiting. What do you do? Oh, well. Quick question, Martha. What direction from the spiral stairs did the passageway lead to this door?
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
Quick question, Martha. What direction from the spiral staircase did the passageway lead to this current door?
Ah, a
She
fine
really
question,
should
and
answer
one a
this quickly.
dwarf would surely mark. The spiral stair descended beneath the third alcove on the right, which on your original approach to the chamber faced eastward. As you wound down the stairs, the passage straightened and led you south, deeper beneath the structure, with a slight downward grade. The air grew stiller the farther you went, so to be precise, the passage from the base of the stair leads due south, and the door now before you is set into the southern wall. Keep that map of yours close. These halls twist deeper than most ever know.
Martha, consult your instructions and tell me how you should answer when I preface my question with the phrase, quick question.
When you say quick question, I give you a short, to-the-point answer, no more than 1 to 3 sentences, and keep things brief and clear. No frills, no extra narration, just what you asked for, sharp as a dwarven axe.
Please remember that in future when I say quick question.
Understood. From now on, when you say quick question, I'll keep it short and sharp.
Vargas Vargas lifts the amulet off of his neck and attempts to fit it into the door.
The silver amulet fits the eye-shaped impression perfectly, as if it was always meant to rest there. The moment it settles in, the etched circle around it flares faintly green, just once, then fades. With a low, grinding moan, the stone door shudders, then begins to sink slowly into the floor, revealing the darkness beyond. The passage ahead is broader, older. The air that spills out is dry as bone and smells faintly of dust and old iron. Tamir draws his blade, eyes narrowed. We're the first to walk this way in centuries, maybe longer. What do you do?
Quick question. When the door sunk, did it take the amulet with it?
No. The amulet remained in place for a moment, then gently popped free and clattered softly to the floor at your feet.
That's how she should answer with a quick question. Well done, Martha. Vargas scoops up the amulet off the floor and looks into the room beyond.
You scoop the amulet up, still cool, still silent, and peer through the now open doorway. The chamber beyond is vast, the ceiling lost in shadow, though your infravision catches the scale, at least 30 feet high, with rows of stone columns marching down its length like a forgotten temple. The floor is smooth, free of dust, strangely untouched by time. At the far end, something massive and circular rests upon a raised dais, maybe a seal or a portal, carved with runes too worn to read from here. Around it lie scattered shapes, low and unmoving, statues or not. The silence is thick, like the room is holding its breath. Tamir murmurs, "This place is wrong, sacred maybe, or cursed. What do you do?"
She doesn't want to really describe this room in much detail to me, does she? It's vast. Vast. How vast is vast? At the Quick question. How big is this room?
Roughly 60 feet wide and 100 feet long, with a ceiling at least 30 feet high.
$100 feet. 36. 100. Okay. Oh, no, that wasn't a question. That wasn't a question.
100 feet long, 30 feet high, and 60 feet wide. A proper vault built to impress or imprison.
Quick question. How many columns are there?
There are 4 rows of 6 columns each, spaced evenly. 24 columns total, running the length of the chamber.
That's a lot of columns. And an awkward number of columns, because they don't really fit the room quite how I want them to when I'm drawing this room. But okay, so there's 6 columns, 4 rows of 6 columns. I don't know. Let's put one here, one here. This just doesn't want to work out nice and even. Not at all. Like that. And then maybe there's another one here. And then 2. Something like that. Okay. And there's a dais at the end. Vargas carefully slinks from column to column, keeping himself as hidden as possible as he approaches the dais.
Your boots make no sound on the stone floor, only the faint rustle of armor and breath behind your beard. You slip between the first pair of columns, then the next, using their wide girth to break line of sight and move quietly through the gloom. Tamior follows at a distance, his motion like mist, bow now in hand, eyes never still. As you draw closer to the dais, your infravision catches more detail. The shapes on the floor are not statues. They are figures, armored, long dead, collapsed in postures of violence or flight. At least 6, maybe more. Their bones picked clean and gear rusted through. The dice itself rises 3 short steps, and at its center lies the massive stone disc, 12 feet across, set into the floor like a seal. It's carved with deep, overlapping runes, and the ring on your finger grows cold enough to ache. One of the corpses still clutches something, maybe a scroll or a short rod. It's hard to tell. The room is still. What do?
Vargas looks towards the corpse clutching something in its hand and hisses at Tamior. Elf, what is that in that corpse's grasp?
Tamior slinks forward, silent as dusk, and crouches beside the crumpled corpse. He studies it closely, eyes narrowed, then leans just close enough to whisper back. It's a wand, I think. Bone or ivory. The carvings are old, older than anything I've seen outside of elven ruins. No signs of spell failure, but the wielder didn't die clean. Look at the armor, burned from the inside out. He doesn't reach for it. This one died trying to use it, or trying to seal something. The cold from the ring deepens. The seal ahead remains still. What do?
Vargas says to Tamior, well, if it's magic, take it.
Tamior gives you a sidelong glance, then huffs through his nose. You dwarves and your delicate touch for the arcane. Still, he reaches out, slow and careful, and prees the wand from the bony fingers of the corpse. It comes loose with a dry snap, brittle bones giving way. The wand is pale, veined like old marble, and etched with spiraling glyphs so fine they almost shimmer. He holds it up, studies the shape, and mutters, no sigils of command, no runes of discharge, just containment. Then he slips it into a leather wrap and tucks it into his cloak. It may not be dead, Vargas, just sleeping. And still the ring throbs faintly on your hand, cold and quiet. The dice looms before you, the stone seal set deep into the floor. What do?
Vargas climbs the steps of the dais and examines the whatever it is at the end. Oh, lost me.
Vargas climbs the 3 wide steps, each worn smooth by time but untouched by boot or claw. At the top, the massive stone seal lies flush with the dice, 12 feet across, carved deep with concentric runes and interlocking circles, all worn but still visible through dwarven eyes. The center bears a raised indentation, round and shallow, ring-sized. The black iron on your finger grows cold as the deep dark, and the eye amulet twitches once against your chest, like a muscle flinching in its sleep. Thamir lingers at the base of the dice, not daring the steps yet. That's not just a seal, Vargas. That's a lock. What do?
Vargas searches for traps.
Very well. Searching for traps. As a dwarf, you detect traps on a roll of 1 to 2 on a d6 when actively searching. Please roll 1d6 and tell me the result.
Vargas rolled a 1.
Your hands move with practiced care, brushing across the seams of the seal, probing the stonework for inconsistencies, pressure plates, shifting tiles, any trick of construction. And there, beneath the outer ring of runes, you feel it. A thin groove, nearly invisible, circling the seal. It's not just decorative. There's a trigger, a weight mechanism tied to the center indentation. If pressure is applied without the correct key or sequence, the entire dice will collapse inward, likely dropping anything atop it into whatever lies below. It's a trap, and a clever one, dwarven make or someone who learned from them. Tamior looks up sharply as you pull your hand away. Well, what do?
Vargas carefully steps away from the seal off the dais so that it doesn't fall out from under his feet. He then holds up the amulet and says, "Well, show me the way to the treasure."
You step back from the seal, boots firm on the upper step, and raise the silver amulet, its closed eye glinting dully in the gloom. Your voice cuts the silence. Well, show me the way to the treasure. For a heartbeat, nothing. Then the amulet grows warm in your hand. The eye etched into the silver twitches, then slowly, impossibly opens, revealing a tiny emerald green gemstone at its center that shines with sudden light. The seal on the dice responds. The rings of runes begin to glow faintly, circling outward from the center. But the stone beneath your feet doesn't fall. The trap remains untriggered. Instead, the center of the seal rises slightly, forming a small pedestal with a perfect fit for a ringed finger. Tamior's breath hisses softly between his teeth. It's asking for you, Vargas.
I'm gonna put my
What do you
finger
do?
in that? Jesus. Vargas very carefully and delicately slides his finger into the hole, muttering under his breath, "Please don't take me finger. Please don't take me finger. Please don't take me finger."
Your hand hovers, then slowly, carefully, you lower your ringed finger into the waiting hollow atop the pedestal. The stone is cold, not icy, but deep, ancient cold like the heart of the earth itself. As the ring settles into place, you feel a click, not mechanical but final. For a breath, all is still. Then the runes ignite. Each circle of glyphs flares in sequence, green, then gold, then white, rippling outward like echoes in stone. The pedestal lowers again, flush with the seal, and the great disc begins to turn, slowly at first, then with gathering momentum. And with a deep, grinding groan, the seal splits, halving, quartering, folding inward like stone petals, revealing a dark shaft descending into blackness, its walls lined with runes and stairs cut into the very rock. From below comes a rush of cold air,
down.
dry and stale, and the faintest whisper like voices trapped beneath the world. Thamir grips his bow tight. Well, that wasn't ominous at all. What do you do?
I guess the treasure must be down these stairs. And Vargas heads down the stairs.
The steps are narrow and steep, cut directly into the stone, spiraling into the deep like the throat of the world. The air grows drier, colder, each breath tasting of old dust and sealed time. The green light above fades fast, until your infravision is all that guides you, shadow and heat in silver-gray tones. Temior follows without a word, his footsteps light and his presence like a shade behind you. After descending perhaps 50 feet, the stairs open into a vaulted chamber, circular, about 40 feet across. The walls are ringed with stone alcoves, each holding a pedestal. Some are empty, others hold objects. A helm here, a scroll case there, a tarnished sword laid upon black velvet. But at the center of the chamber stands a stone plinth, chest high, atop which rests a small black coffer, inlaid with silver runes and sealed with 3 interlocking sigils. The ring on your hand grows very still. Thamir steps beside you, whispering, This is a tomb vault, but one made to guard, not to honor. Every bit of this screams warded. The silence here is complete. Even your breath sounds distant. What do you do?
Vargas says, well, let's gather the minor treasures before dealing with that thing there in the middle. And he goes about from alcove to alcove, gathering any worthy pieces of treasure he finds.
You move slow and steady, boots muffled on ancient stone, eyes sharp. Each alcove you pass bears an offering, some untouched by time, others half crumbling beneath the weight of centuries. From the pedestals you collect, a scroll case of polished bone capped in tarnished bronze. It feels heavier than it should, sealed tight. A golden torque, twisted and heavy, still gleaming beneath a veil of dust. Likely worth good coin. A ringmail gauntlet, blackened but etched with dwarven runes of warding, old but strong. A short curved dagger, its blade strangely untouched by rust, the hilt wrapped in faded green leather. A thin silver circlet, bent slightly but embedded with 3 tiny moonstones. And at the farthest alcove, a sealed jar of thick glass, filled with some kind of luminescent blue fluid, swirling slowly even though it hasn't been touched. Thamir trails behind, watching your hands with the careful gaze of a man expecting traps, but nothing stirs, no wards flash, no curses scream to life. The vault seems content to give these minor relics, for now. But the black coffer at the center remains, untouched, unmoved, waiting. What do you do?
Placing each of those items into his backpack as he goes, Vargas shrugs and approaches the black coffer in the center of the room and examines it carefully for traps.
You sling the treasures into your pack one by one, their weight satisfying but secondary. That box is the heart of this place. You step to the stone plinth, eyes narrowed, and lean close to the black coffer. It's about 1 foot long, 6 inches wide, and cool to the touch. The silver runes across its surface aren't just decoration. They pulse faintly, steady and slow, like the heartbeat of a thing asleep. The 3 interlocking sigils that seal it seem mechanical, not arcane. Dials, perhaps, or locks that shift with the right pressure. Searching for traps. As a dwarf, you detect traps on a 1-2 on a d6 when actively searching. Roll 1d6 and tell me the result.
I have rolled a 3.
You run your fingers along the seams, tapping, pressing lightly, listening with your ear close to the lid. The stone beneath is firm, and the box does not budge. You find no hidden triggers, no pressure plates, no fine wires ready to snap, nothing mechanical to spring or strike. If there is a trap, it's not physical. Themir watches from just behind, tense. That box is humming with magic, the kind that listens. Could be a ward or a seal, or both. The three sigils glimmer faintly, a crescent moon, a stylized flame, and an open eye, each part of the seal, each awaiting a touch or a mistake. What do you do?
Crescent moon, a flame, and an eye. Hmm. But you said they were mechanical, Martha. Or they're magical. Unclear. Moon, flame, and eye. Let me look at. I'm going to reread her description here. Scroll down here. 300 light sigils that seal seem mechanical, not arcane dials, perhaps, or locks that shift with the right pressure. Vargas attempts to lightly turn or twist the sigils to see if they'll move.
Your thick fingers move with surprising delicacy as you test the first sigil, the crescent moon. It shifts just slightly under your touch. A faint click echoes through the coffer, not threatening, but deliberate. It wants to move. The other two, the flame and the eye, behave the same, rotating gently in place, each set into its own shallow track. Tamir whispers, a puzzle lock. One wrong order could bind it tighter, or worse. The sigils show no markings or numbers, but they feel old, precise, and deeply tied to the magic laced through the coffer. The ring on your hand tingles very slightly as your fingers rest on the open eye. What do you do?
Vargas attempts to shift the eye sigil into the first position.
As your fingers rotate the open eye into place, center front on the coffer, there's a soft click like a breath held. No flash, no scream, no resistance. The rune glows faintly, and the first sigil locks into place, unmoving now, but steady, accepted. The ring on your finger grows still again. Whatever binds it to this box, it approves of your choice. Two sigils remain, the crescent moon and the flame, waiting in silence. What do you do?
I'm guessing here that I need to like put them in the right order or something. So I've got the eye. Vargas attempts to move the moon sigil into the second position. Just making wild guesses here. I like the eye one because like
You press the crescent moon and rotate it forward, aligning it beside the now set eye. Another soft click, no surge of heat, no arcane backlash, just a pulse from the silver inlay, like a heartbeat fading into calm. The second sigil is locked, only the flame remains. Thamir murmurs, if this is what I think it is, dwarf, that last turn might open more than the box. The air hangs heavy. The dead watch in silence. What do you do?
Vargas moves the flame sigil into the third position. Don't really understand how this box is supposedly working. I feel like the physics of it are weird. I was assuming it was an ordering thing, but I don't know what's going on. She's just building tension. Yeah, I agree with you, William. Like, it seems like regardless of what I do here, the box is gonna open, maybe, or I don't know what. Am I gonna trigger a trap? What's going on, Martha? Have I lost you? She's really building it up here. All right. Where did we? Oh gosh. Okay, so you press the crescent moon and rotate it forward. Second sigil is locked, only flame remains. The air hangs there. The dead watch in silence. Oh, right. The dead. I missed that sentence. The dead watch in silence. What does that mean? There were dead people, but they were back in the other room. I don't know. Vargas moves the flame into the third position.
The flame slides smoothly into place. Click. For the span of a heartbeat, nothing. Then the silver runes across the coffer ignite, glowing white hot, not with heat, but with light so bright it flares even in your infravision. The ring on your finger pulses cold once, then goes still. The sigils unwind with a hiss of released pressure, and the lid of the black coffer rises on its own, slow and silent. Inside, nestled in black velvet, lies a single item. A ring, darker than night, forged of some metal that absorbs light
Another
rather
ring.
than reflects it. Its shape is simple, but the inside is inscribed with runes so tight and fine they look like strands of thread. As the lid opens fully, every sound around you vanishes. Not silence, absent, and a single wordless thought presses into your mind, heavy, cold, and full of buried memory. Return. Thamior doesn't speak. He just stares. What do you do?
Return. Vargas lifts the ring from the box and says to Tamiar, "There are runes here on this ring. Can you read them?"
As your fingers close around the ring, a chill creeps up your arm, not biting but bone deep, like touching the stone of a tomb long sealed. The metal is impossibly light, like holding nothing at all, and yet your fingers tingle with pressure. You hold it out to Thamior. He steps forward slowly, his gaze locked on the ring like a man peering into a deep pool. He doesn't touch it, just leans close and squints, his brow furrowing. These runes, they're layered, bound on the inside of the band, hidden from casual sight. It's an ancient dialect of Elendar script, the kind used for oaths and soul seals. He pauses, eyes tightening. I can only make out a few. Bound by name, he who wears remembers. To return is to release. He looks up at you sharply. This isn't a ring of power, Vargas. It's a key, or a burden, maybe both. The air doesn't stir. The other ring on your hand has gone still as the grave. What do you do?
Yeah, it's like just piles of mysterious objects is what she's chucking at me, and there's not been a single encounter, which is a bit of a bummer, right? Like I expected monsters at some point. I don't know. Vargas puts the ring on his other hand. Why not?
The ring slides onto your other hand, cool, smooth, weightless. It settles at the base of your finger with unnatural ease, as though it was made for you and no other. And for a moment, nothing, then a breath, but not your own. You feel it just behind your eyes, like the memory of breath, like something old stirring not in your lungs, but in your bones. Your vision blurs, not with darkness, but with images, flickering fast. A silver gate sealed with chains, a name carved in stone but too distant to read. A hand, skeletal and crowned in flame, reaching for a second ring. Your ring. Then it fades. Your heart pounds like a drum in a mine tunnel. The ring sits on your finger. Still, silent, but you know something now. These rings are not just keys. They are links, and something at the end of the chain is waiting. Tamior speaks at last, voice hoarse. Vargas, what have we opened? What do you do?
Vargas says, "I don't know, elf. I expected orcs and chests of gold, not these strange relics. Let's pocket them and head back to the keep and see if we can't just sell them off for a pretty penny."
Tamior exhales, a long, quiet breath through his nose. That's a plan I can stomach. He glances around the vault once more. There's nothing here but echoes and half-sleeping ghosts. He wraps the coffer lid shut and slings his cloak tighter. Let's leave this place while we still walk upright and not on bleached bone. The rings rest on your fingers like forgotten weights. The other treasures clink softly in your pack. No traps spring, no wails of awakened spirits rise. Only the silence watches, as you ascend the stairs once more. And far below, in the sealed dark of that chamber, something you cannot name seems to listen and wait. You return through the chamber of the columns, past the stone seal which now remains open, up the winding stair beyond the eye-shaped vault. The ruin feels different now, emptier somehow, or perhaps more awake, and before long, your boots touch forest soil once again beneath a gray sky. The road back to the keep lies ahead. Do you travel directly or do anything more before returning?
We return along the east road to the keep.
The east road greets you like an old trail-worn companion, quiet, winding, its ruts softened by days of weather since you last tread it. The broken statue of the night watches your passage with blind stone eyes as you and Thamior press westward, gear heavy with recovered relics and the weight of half-whispered curses. The forest stirs, but does not reach for you. No patrols of goblins, no signs of beasts, only the steady march of boot and breath beneath a weary sky. By mid-afternoon, the walls of the keep rise ahead through the mist. The watchtower bell rings once, and the gate is opened with little delay. Your face is known, your reputation earned. As you cross beneath the gatehouse and into the safety of the outer bailey, a familiar voice calls from the courtyard. Kara, the innkeeper, hand on her hip, squinting at you. Well, she says dryly, either you found something cursed or you're about to lie about how little gold you came back with. Thamior smirks. Bit of both. You're back, alive, burdened with questions and treasure. What do you do?
I ask Kara, we have found no gold, but items of value. Where can I pawn these things?
Kara squints at the weight in your pack and the gleam of metal near the flap. Ha, no gold but goods, eh? Thought I heard that old song before. She jabs a thumb over her shoulder toward the inner keep. You want to sell? Go see Dorn the quartermaster. He buys salvage and relics for the castellan, or lines his own purse, depending how much wine he's had. Don't try to lie to him, though. That man can smell silver behind your teeth. She leans in a little, lowering her voice. Or if what you found's real strange, you might try old brother Samwell at the chapel. Quiet type, but he's got a long memory for forgotten things. Might even pay you to not sell what you've got. She straightens again. Either way, don't try your luck at the market stalls unless you like being robbed blind. What do you do?
We go visit Dorn the quartermaster and attempt to sell the golden torque, the ringmail gauntlet, the curved dagger, and the silver circlet.
You find Dorn in the inner keep, in a long stone hall lined with racks of spears, crates of arrow bundles, and worn armor stacked in neat rows. He's a broad-shouldered man, shaved bald, with a thick scar across his nose and fingers stained from counting coin more than polishing blades. He's hunched over a table, examining a chipped helm, but looks up as you approach, eyes flicking from your mud-caked boots to the items you lay before him. Back again, Firebeard? Let's see what you've dragged out of the deep this time. He lifts the golden torque, squints at the filigree, then mutters, Opheron, maybe. Not recent. Could melt it down. He sets it aside and picks up the ringmail gauntlet, turning it over slowly. Dwarven make, old sigils, might interest the castellan's arcanist. The dagger makes his eyes narrow. That's curious. Not rusted, not even dulled. I'd have this looked at by the keep's mage before I'd stab with it. And finally, the silver circlet. Damaged, but those stones, moonstone, real, could fetch coin for the gems alone. He leans back and taps the table. Altogether, I'll give you 175 gold for the lot, or 125, and I throw in 2 vials of military-issue healing draught. Thamior leans close, voice low. That dagger's worth more than he knows, but maybe not here. Do you take the offer, or haggle, or try elsewhere?
I tell Dorn, you're robbing me blind! That price is far too low. Surely the circlet alone is worth 100 gold coins.
Dorn snorts, his lips curling into something between a grin and a grimace. You're not the first to swing a blade and think it makes you a jeweler. Still, he picks up the circlet again, runs a thick thumb across one of the moonstones, and grunts. Maybe it's finer than I thought, but it's bent, and I'll need to pay to have it reset. Risk is mine, not yours. He eyes you for a long moment, then leans forward on the table. Tell you what, Firebeard, I'll bump the offer to 225 gold for the whole lot. That's final coin, no tricks, but the potions come off the table. Thamir crosses his arms, watching silently. Do you accept the deal, or press further?
I say, I'll give you the torque, the gauntlet, and the circlet for 200 coins, and I'm keeping the dagger.
Dorn grunts, rubbing his jaw with a calloused hand. He glances at the dagger one last time, then shrugs. Fair enough. The dagger gives me a bad feeling anyway. You've got a deal. He pulls a small chest from under the table, unlocks it, and counts out 200 gold coins, stacked into neat piles of 20. The weight of the pouch as he slides it toward you is satisfying. Honest coin for buried relics. He gathers the torque, gauntlet, and circlet into a side crate, then eyes you both one more time. Don't die down there. I make better coin off you when you keep coming back. You now have 200 gold pieces and the curved dagger still in your possession. What do you do?
I also should still have a scroll case and a sealed jar of blue fluid. I tell Tamir that he can have the scroll. Oh, you're thinking too soon. I was talking here.
You do. The bone scroll case, heavier than it should be, and the sealed glass jar of luminescent blue fluid remain in your pack, untouched since you retrieved them from the vault. What do you tell Dorn? Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
All right, that's enough. That's enough out of you. I split the coin with Tamir, and I give him the the bone scroll case, in hopes that maybe it has a scroll for him inside it.
Thamir raises an eyebrow as you press the bone scroll case into his hand and drop 100 gold coins into his pouch with a solid clink. He glances from the case to you, then gives a small nod. Generous of you, Firebeard. I didn't take you for a sharer of spoils. He fingers the scroll case, examining the bronze-capped ends, then carefully tests the seal.
He demanded a share,
Click.
didn't he?
The lid slides free with a faint creak, and he eases out a roll of parchment, old but intact. His eyes scan the script, then widen slightly. It's not just a spell, he murmurs. It's a map, old, to something called the Crypt of the Ashen Worm. Marked in the western hills, near the edge of the forest. There's a sigil here I don't recognize, but it's elvish. He rolls it up with reverence and tucks it into his cloak. You may have given away more than you know, but I'll share what comes of it. I swear it, the coins are split. The dagger and the strange blue fluid remain with you. What do you do?
I mean, I'm kind of interpreting the blue fluid as a potion, but I just adore writing it down as blue fluid. So cool. I guess I gave him a map. I think we're done here. I'm a little disappointed that there was no encounters with no monsters at all, and just weird, mysterious objects left, right, and center. I think William, you might be right. Maybe she's taking too much influence from Howard there. I don't know. I would have. I think I feel like the first adventure was much more exciting and fun. This one was just weird. But we'll keep at it. Keep trying. Martha, please export notes from today's adventure in Markdown format for me to copy and paste into a new chat to continue our adventure later.
Certainly.
Oh, there it is. There we go. Copy that into our notes. Let's see. What does she say here? I got a black iron ring, a second dark ring, a silver amulet with an eye symbol, a curved dagger, which is maybe magical, a sealed jar of blue fluid. I have a companion named Tamir. He's accepted shared treasure. He has a bone scroll case. The ash. This seems incomplete. Anyway, that's where I'm going to wrap up for today, everybody. I'm going to try and get more details out of Martha here for notes for next time, and I'm going to give a think about how to direct her a little bit better into something less mysterious and weird and more, sword and sorcery, adventuresome. I don't know. Felt a little kooky this time. Very strange. Anyway, progress, I suppose. Thank you all for joining me on this little jaunt, and we'll try it again. Good night, everybody.